So, what do you think of yoga for runners?
Um, Absolutely fine. It's sort of I see yoga as a combination of mobility and strength work. I don't think it's, and this could upset yoga people, but I don't think the way it strengthens is necessarily the way I'd want a runner to strengthen.
Yeah,
But if you want to use it as part of your overall week and you get lots of different things from it,
yeah.
then you can use it absolutely fine.
If I want to prevent a running injury, should I stretch a region or strengthen a region, or both?
So if you've got time for both, you could do both. There's no good research for stretching and injury prevention. Like I said earlier, there's reasonable research for strengthening and injury prevention outside of runners and maybe some emerging stuff in runners if you're adherent to it. So if I had to choose one, I'm choosing strengthening. If you like stretching for other reasons, like for recovery or just as part of a mental process of winding down or sort of recovering from exercise, use it. But for injury prevention, I don't think we can confidently say it does that.
What do you think of foam rollers?
Similar thing, the sort of only good research suggests they're good for post-exercise muscle soreness. So if that's what you're using one for, absolutely. They might temporarily improve joint motion as well, which for a runner you don't really need. So more of a recovery tool on top of the basics of sleep and nutrition. And if you like using it, absolutely use it.
If I was a new runner and you could give me 3 tips to choose the right trainers for me, what would they be?
If you're completely unsure, I would suggest probably going and getting some form of assistance, either from a good reputable shoe shop or a podiatrist. Um, I would say the phrase is comfort is king. Comfort is king. You're going to run a long distance in these trainers. They need to feel comfortable on your feet. And I would say weight of a shoe is probably quite important as well, especially for longer distance. They make quite a difference if you've got a 220-gram shoe versus a 350-gram shoe over 4 hours. That is a lot of extra energy to move. So comfortable, lightweight, and do your research. Learn, like have a little look into sort of what reviews say for these shoes for the event you're training for. Because these days, trainers are very event specific. You'll find event trainers that are much more suited for marathons versus 10Ks versus 5Ks.
Excellent. How does sports massage fit into a marathon training program?
So I think it's going to be really useful. And again, it sits there in that recovery pyramid. So at the base of that pyramid is sleep, good nutrition, hydration, stress management as best you can. And then sitting above that is potentially things like contrast bathing and hot and cold and stuff like that. And then sitting above that is massage and soft tissue treatments and things like that. So absolutely can be part of your overall recovery process as long as you're getting the base of the pyramid done. But I have lots of clients that use it, and you're putting your body through a lot. So anything that you can do to help you on that recovery side of things, I think, can add real value. So yeah, simply for me, I think as long as you're doing the basics of recovery, add in whatever works for you on top of that.
What do you think of ice baths and how do they fit into training for a marathon?
Yeah, so again, there's a real craze at the moment because companies have started selling the ones you can get at home and just make a little thing. The research isn't there yet. If you look at it, it doesn't necessarily suggest that it has a very clear and obvious performance benefit. It might have a recovery benefit, but you have to think too cold, you might be blocking or delaying the body's natural inflammatory recovery responses. So very individualistic, I think. Some people will find it really works and some people won't. But I would say don't jump on it because you've just seen all your friends doing it. I would say, again, do your research. If you're going to want to try one, maybe try a friend's and see if you really, and if you want to go down that road, you can. And we've sort of gone from ice baths at home to buying these home plunge pools. And there are lots of places now for cryotherapy, which, again, it all falls out of the elite sports world. Eventually, often, maybe some research does follow it, but it's sort of,
But there's
it
so
lags
much you
behind.
can do without doing that for a good
Yeah, I
recovery.
think there's things to do before we get there, basically.
Yeah, perfect. What do you think are the 3 biggest training errors for somebody that's running a marathon?
So rule of twos, essentially. Too much, too often, too fast, essentially. And normally it's the too fast one. If you look at people, everyone talks about it, but still people get it wrong. They run their easy runs too hard, essentially. And it's because of maybe social sites comparisons, and they want to, when they upload it, they want it to look good or whatever, or people just feel that they should run faster to get fitter, and they just can't buy into the fact that slower running would serve them better. But yeah, the biggest one for me is running your what should be slow and easy runs too fast. And then the other one is sort of too much too soon. So suddenly jumping from 2 runs a week to 5 runs a week, or suddenly jumping from 20 miles a week to 40 miles a week with no gradual progression, and it just overloads your body.